Ladies and gentlemen, this is American Dumpster Fire, and I'm Loki.
And I'm here.
And more blatant corruption from the Trump campaign, right? I mean,
he literally admitted to it on I think it was a Fox interview. Yes.
well, Fox is okay with corruption, right? I mean, all they do is lie, cheat, and steal.
His supporters are cool with it, so I guess it is what it is now. But yeah, he's blatantly messing with the United States Postal Service, which last I checked, mail tampering was a felony, but I guess that doesn't apply to our leaders.
Right. Well, and of course the Postmaster General is on his side because the Postmaster General personally benefits if
Correct.
the Postal Service...
So what Trump did is essentially put in place a Postmaster General who is got a blatant conflict of interest here. And he's a huge Trump supporter, a donor.
Right.
And he has some sort of financial interest in like FedEx and UPS and direct competitors of the United States Postal Service. And as soon as he has taken over, they have started dismantling sorting machines. They are taking out mail boxes in noticeably blue areas.
Specifically targeted blue areas.
Correct. And they are removing shelving in the United States Postal Service to make it more difficult for the postal workers to sort the mail.
Right.
Removing shelving. Tell me how that is saving budgeting at all.
Right.
Please explain.
Well,
that to
shelving
me.
that's already paid for on top of that, right?
The machines are paid for.
Right.
They're removing sorting machines. Why? What is the reason other than you are purposely trying to throw
destroy
an election?
America? This is the Trump MO, right? You take a department and you install somebody who is blatantly unqualified for the job, who stands to personally financially gain from the position. That person then destroys
that destruction.
Right. That person then destroys that department so that they can personally gain, and then contributes asinine amounts of money to the Trump campaign, which he then launders into his own pockets.
Right.
So because he is a scumfuck, corrupt piece of shit.
Right. And so then there was also financial aid in the bill that the House, the Democrats, tried to pass that was supposed to help the post office. And because right now we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic, and a safe election is kind of an important thing.
Right.
So there was supposed to be money going to the post office, and Trump basically made the point that as long as the post office doesn't get that funding, they can't safely handle the election.
Right.
So he's on board with not giving it. Meanwhile, people are literally being booted from their homes, cannot afford to feed their children, and the Republicans went on vacation until September.
Well, hey, as long as he hates the same people you hate, right? That's all that matters.
It's just baffling to me that there are still 30 to 40% of Americans supporting this man, and I just
it's more like
wrap
25,
my head around it.
But they are literally
voters.
the 25 dumbest percent of Americans.
Oh
I mean, they are the stupidest fucking people on the planet.
Insane.
And then they're
But the truly bad thing about this post office situation is the fact that it's in conjunction with the rest of the blatant voter suppression that's going on.
Right.
So essentially, you have the pandemic, which they're not inclined to fix because as long as this pandemic is raging, people are going to vote less.
Right.
And they know that the more people that vote, the less likely it is they'll win because truly they don't have the numbers backing them. So on top of the raging pandemic, you also have Republican Secretary of States like the one here in Ohio who refuses to mandate masks at in-person polling places.
And then they're purging voter rolls, and you got to constantly check to see if you're still enrolled to vote, which is just ridiculous. I mean, at this point, you should just be automatically enrolled to vote.
You absolutely should.
I mean,
there is no reason to not be.
And if they wanted to,
except for Republicans.
Yeah. If they wanted to, there'd always be a way to keep the election honest. But they don't actually want to keep the election honest because studies have shown that when there is corruption in an election, it generally favors Republicans.
Oh, almost always, yes. So essentially, aiding to the voter suppression is, like I said, the Ohio Secretary of State, who refuses to mandate masks, which makes it more dangerous to vote in person. And then on top of that, we have been trying to get the ballot drop boxes placed in more convenient locations, more than just, in outside of the Board of
Right,
Elections, right? Because it's rather inconvenient. And the Secretary of State is refusing to put these ballot collection boxes around the different cities and in places where they're much more accessible. So again, Republican voter suppression is just an all-hands-on-deck kind of situation.
Well, and the Ohio Republican Party is one of the most corrupt branches of the Republican Party in America.
They just put a bunch of them in jail, right? They just took down that large freaking scheme.
Yeah, they were taking bribes and stuff like that.
And I think the guy who was convicted is still on some board that has some say in all this.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Even though he's literally been arrested for crimes.
Yeah, it's time to purge these people from their offices and replace them with, good people. Maybe it's time to start instating some things to make sure that we have, better people.
The corruption is just so insane. It's just it's so blatant.
While we're at it, maybe putting in an IQ test would help too, because these guys are also idiots.
I mean, even if it's not an IQ test, like some sort of aptitude, some sort of do you know the basic subjects that you should be aware of as a representative in this field?
Maybe an ethics exam.
Ethics and do you understand basic biology if you're going to be ruling on female productives?
You can re-implant No, stop. You cannot.
Yes, exactly.
You idiot. No.
Yeah, those kinds of things. If it's a topic you're going to cover, you should have a basic understanding that a high school student would have.
I feel like the level of ineptitude shown should disqualify you from your job. You know what I mean?
Like it would from any other job.
I know. If I did that at my job, I'd be fired. You know?
Absolutely.
But it's no, we just keep these same inept idiots all the time.
Right.
Why?
Right.
How can't we get past this?
Oh, I know. I think that it should be much easier to remove an elected official from their position.
Yeah.
If you lose the support of most of your constituents because you're an idiot, I feel like it should be very valid to just pluck them from their seat.
I just feel like there should be an ethics board that their only job is to get
right now.
You violate something, we fire you. That's it.
I think that any attempt at voter suppression or election fraud should be automatic
campaign
disqualifier.
Finance violations.
Anything. You should no longer be able to run for any office.
Yep, I agree.
But
we wouldn't have Ted Cruz right now if campaign finance violations.
Georgia too has had a lot of voter suppression.
Yeah, these guys are blatant crooks.
Absolutely.
Get rid of them.
I mean, look at Florida right now. They're literally stuck with a governor who they're calling him Death Santis because he has killed so many people with his policies.
Oh yeah, he's absolute trash.
And they can't get rid of him.
Well, and what does he do? I don't know that he's ever done anything that's helped his state.
Helped? No. He is a detriment.
Yeah, I mean the guy is trash, absolute trash.
He's vile. Yes, he's evil. So yeah, there's that. It's basically the entire platform of the GOP right now is, well, we'll just cheat. And that's where we're at. That's
kind of been their platform for 40 years, 50 years maybe. I mean, they've just
cheat like you're going to jail if
liars,
you don't win.
cheats, and thieves. That's all they are.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Blatant fucking lying.
And it's right in front of everybody's face.
McConnell accusing Democrats of being at fault for the relief bill not going through and then going on vacation. It's I
know until September. I know.
Dude, you guys are in power. If you can't do this, it's on you.
Right. Exactly. But he doesn't want to.
But let's blame Democrats for everything that
and I love that.
And they're crooks. They're just padding the bills. They're trying to take away your Social Security by saying we're going to defund payroll tax. Well, no. What you're doing is you're killing Social Security. Stop.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, that's the thing is that the first bill that passed the stimulus bill or whatever for the the COVID thing, they were fine passing that one because it literally threw billions of dollars at the rich.
3/4 of that stimulus bill was giveaways for the rich.
Yes. So they had no problem passing that. But now that it's time to actually help the people, the citizens of this country, now they want money for fighter jets, right? For a new building for the FBI.
Right, which, by the way, that new building for the FBI is about the fact that they're trying to put it across the street from Trump Tower, or from a Trump hotel, to force FBI agents and visiting people to basically use his hotel.
Right. It's more lining the pockets of Donald Trump.
Right.
And a West Wing remodel. Literally, these things are in this stimulus bill, and they're complaining that they don't have money to help the citizens.
And then they're blaming Democrats for not wanting to pass their bullshit.
Right, because once again, they're trying to pass and it's also got the no litigation rule, where if you are adversely affected by COVID because your employer was an irresponsible asshat, it means you can't sue them.
Right.
Which is utter bullshit.
Which really should show all of you that they don't represent you.
Absolutely,
the Republican
they don't
Party
represent you.
only represents themselves and the super wealthy. And they're playing you for fools, and they think you're fucking morons. And if you vote for them, you are a fucking moron.
Right, and they literally do not care if you are homeless and starving.
No, and dead. They don't care if you're dead.
They don't care. No, I think they prefer that we're all dead. But the
Trump
bottom line is, you are literally suffering. All of us are freaking suffering by the state of the world, and they decided, we'll just go on vacation till September.
Right.
And that's literally who McConnell is as a person.
Well, I mean, McConnell's much worse than that, but you know, I mean, they are blatantly evil. They're cartoon villains, and
they still have the support of a big chunk of this country
because they're stupid. Those people are morons, plain and simple. There's no other way.
They're racist
and evil. They're evil morons. But I feel like when you're that stupid, evil is kind of part of it. Like, you know, these are the kind of people who strangle cats. You know, because that's who they are. They're terrible human beings. So
anyway, moving on from the corruption and just blatant criminal activity that used to be, you know, it used mail tampering and voter suppression used to be things that were illegal, but I guess, you know, we just are going with it. So in other news, Kamala Harris is the new VP pick. And, you know, they've come out of the woodwork to accuse her of not being eligible, even though she was born in California. So we're starting the birther thing all over again.
Well, I mean, Trump was all about the birther thing for Obama. I mean, it's the same people.
What Kamala and Obama could possibly have in common that would make them start this bullshit. That's a conundrum.
Well,
so weird.
So, well, and then I'm seeing these guys. Kamala was rated the most liberal left-wing senator of all time, and you're like, have you never heard of Bernie or Elizabeth Warren?
So here's the thing. Obviously, that's bullshit. But what we're dealing with here now is Schrodinger's candidate.
Right.
Because you have, at the same time, Kamala is somehow both a radical leftist,
right,
and a cop.
Right.
You
at
know?
The same time. Yeah.
Yeah, at the same time. So basically, we have both of these like competing things happening, where she is essentially a step away from a Republican, while at the same time being radical left, and all of it is complete bullshit.
Well, I have no doubt that she is a more conservative Democrat.
I agree. She is on the conservative side.
Which I wasn't a fan of, because Biden is already a more conservative Democrat. In fact, I believe that in a world where we weren't in bizarro land, where things were not in batshit insane, that Kamala and Biden would be conservatives. They would be the conservative party.
I think that, had the Republican Party not been completely taken over by criminal activity.
And terrorists,
Yeah, and terrorists. I think that, you're looking at a place where basically because they basically invalidated their entire party.
Yeah.
So the GOP and the Republican Party, who I'm sure at one point was, you know, reasonable people with differences of opinions, are now
they're
invalid.
Hydra.
They're invalid. They're criminals who have taken over a party. But essentially that leaves you with the Democratic Party, which has this like central, more conservative side of the Democrats, and then you have the progressives. And there's little sects within there, obviously.
Sure.
They're smaller, you know. But essentially that's what you're left with. And basically these central Democrats are kind of what you're looking at, what the Republicans used to be.
If we had a reasonable...
Not quite, but, you know.
If we had a reasonable set of parties, you'd have the Democrats and the progressives.
Right.
and the Republicans would just be laughed off in a normal world. You know,
In
it's
a
just like, oh
normal
no, you guys are
world-
insane.
In a
No.
normal world, they'd be in jail.
Right? Yeah. People would be like, oh, you're nuts, or you're stupid, or you're a criminal, and they just laugh them off. But no, that's
Right.
not what's happening.
Right, and I mean, you have a couple of Republicans who haven't,
They'd have joined the
completely
Democrats
succumbed
if
to
in a normal
But
world.
they do have differences of opinion as far as like abortion and stuff like that goes. Whereas Joe Biden is a Catholic and he doesn't necessarily personally agree with abortion. He has said he knows that his position as a politician means that he doesn't get to dictate what other people do with their body.
Right.
So like he manages to have religion without pushing it onto his politics.
Once again, though, that's a common sense stance.
Right.
I can be against abortion, but
And
still
know that you don't have a
believe
say
in your
in
right
other
to choose
people's,
things.
right.
I'm not an authoritarian dictator.
Right.
Get over yourself
And
if you
that's
think
the
you
big
have that right to say.
difference. And I think that leads us to the point where we're going to have a fight because we're going to discuss the progressive vote, which is abandoning ship.
Okay, so me and you a little disagree on this one.
We a lot disagree on this one, yeah.
Because while I'm still going to vote for Biden and Kamala, I do agree that the Democrats have abandoned the progressives. I do agree that the progressives have a legitimate right.
No, I agree with that as well. I am also going to vote for Biden because our alternative is a lot more death.
I agree with that, yes, but the progressives aren't out of line, saying that they've been abandoned by their party.
They're not out of line saying that they've been abandoned by their party. My big disagreement is with the fact that they're not voting for Biden because fuck him because he doesn't represent them, which I get that.
But they're not
your
even
option
trying
is
to bridge. They're not even trying to hold out an olive branch. They're not. They're just not. The Democrats aren't trying to.
I
and
think
then
that was supposed to be what Biden and Bernie got together to do. It's just not meeting on the topics that the progressives want.
They're not even trying.
They're not trying enough.
They're
I'll give you that. I am not an establishment Democrat by any
Instead,
by
what I'm
any
hearing
means.
from a lot of establishment Democrats is "fuck you." That's all I'm hearing.
I'm hearing that from citizens, not from the party itself.
No, from the party itself. They don't feel like they have to hold on. Oh, if you don't vote
That's
for
always been the
if
DNC.
you don't vote for Trump, you're just stupid. Okay, well, or if you don't vote for Biden, you're just stupid. Whatever it is, they're both saying the
necessarily
same thing,
stupid.
and that's the problem.
Here's my thing about
Is-
not voting for Biden. If you don't vote for Biden, you're giving Trump the advantage. So it's not a matter of, and they're like comparing Biden and Trump like it's the same thing.
They're not the same thing.
Biden and Trump are not the same thing. They're not. People are dying in droves because of Trump.
I agree.
And if you can look at Biden and say that's the same thing, then congrats on your privilege.
No,
because he's
I
obviously
agree
not
with you.
affecting you to the extent that he's affecting other people.
I agree with you. And people believe a lot of things about Biden that aren't necessarily true. A lot of people, the false equivalencies have been made between Biden and Trump that some people have bought that just aren't true.
Right.
A lot of people think that we are going to get the same thing that Trump offered. And it didn't help that Biden said things are essentially not going to change under me. What he should have
said that before all hell broke loose.
He should have said things wouldn't change from, say, Obama era, with me.
It definitely could have been worded better. But the truth is that
because people don't want more Trump, and that's really what it felt like he said, And I know that's not what he meant, but a lot of people don't know that's not what he meant,
I think that he was trying to step away from the radical left.
Well, he didn't want to.
ideal,
He didn't
which
want to
nobody
address
was connecting
M4A,
to him.
and
Right.
M4A is a key thing. In fact, 60%.
For progressives, yes, it's a huge thing.
60% Democrats altogether want M4A.
So here's the thing: is that Biden was far from my first choice. Far from my first choice. However, I will fucking crawl over glass to vote for the man
Sure.
because our alternative is Trump.
No, we definitely have to get rid of the orange man.
The bottom line is that we right now have a fascist in place who is literally dismantling democracy before our eyes, and he's not even trying to hide it. He's so fucking entitled.
I think a lot of people still don't even realize how bad it really is, right? Because they see him as one man, right? That's
It's
doing
not
his thing,
one
and it's not one
man.
man. It's an enormous organization of evil sons of bitches trying to destroy your country.
He's literally packed the government with people just like him.
Right.
He is vile. He is disgusting.
I don't even know how
He
you
is a
find this many corrupt
sociopath.
motherfuckers,
No, He's got racists in every corner of the government. He's killing people.
Yeah.
He's literally watching people die and stepping over bodies to make it to the golf
Yeah,
course.
he doesn't give a fuck about any of you.
He's incapable of caring.
So.
Okay, the man is a sociopath.
And that's the thing. I do think Biden will at least stabilize this country.
Biden will put an end to the mass deaths. Okay, because really this country is screaming for leadership of some sort. And let me tell you about the one thing that is different from Biden versus Trump. And that is that he listens to other people.
Yeah, and as Kamala is more conservative than I like, she is taking a few progressive stances.
She has
on
taken
things.
a few progressive stances.
And I feel like she is adopting a platform that does seem to push him a little left, which okay, and then
I think that Bernie has had some
we
influence
can
on
still
him as
work.
well.
That's the thing, is that we can work with Biden. We can't work with Trump.
Exactly.
And so
Trump's own people can't even tell him the truth about things.
Oh no! Yeah,
because
you're
he'll tell
fired
them-
instantly.
Yeah, he'll fire you, and he doesn't want to
And
hear
then
it.
he discredits you, and he ruins your life. And it's like, how does anybody still back this?
And that's the thing, is that if you watched in the debates between the Democratic candidates before Biden was nominated, you saw like Kamala and Bernie and everybody going after him. They challenged his ideas. They challenged everything about him. And then when it came time to move forward in his campaign against Trump, those are the same people he went to.
Right.
The people who challenged him, the people who ripped apart his
I
ideas.
think he needs to make that, though, more of the feel of the Democratic Party right now. Like, look, and I understand it's not a responsibility to do it, but I think it would be smart for him to publicly bring these people together, physically, on a platform, together, much like the debate stage, but instead saying, look, we're looking to improve this country as a team. I might be the leader, but we are a team
I
to bring
feel
this
like
country
he's
forward.
put that message
I don't
out.
think he's done a good job of it.
Yeah, I don't think that it's widespread.
And I think if he did a better
I don't think
job
people are seeing it.
of branding that's what I'm saying, is that might bring the progressives in. That might, maybe he is actually listening. His absolute refusal to look at M4A has been one of the biggest problems, though.
I agree with you there. I think that in the middle of this pandemic, where, 50,000 people or million people lost their insurance.
5.5 million, yeah.
Was it 5 million?
5.5 million.
I thought it was way more than that because everybody lost their jobs.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure 5.5 million lost insurance.
So,
that might
and
be
the only reason that it probably isn't the astronomical number that I thought it was is because of
Obamacare.
Obamacare.
Right, where they were able to transfer over.
Right.
Which Trump actively tried to stop.
He
mind
did
you.
try to
So
stop
if you
it.
have health care right now, even though you're unemployed, Trump tried to stop that.
In the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
And I don't know how you could be any more of a villain than that.
Right. Yeah, he only stopped short of tying you to train tracks.
Right, exactly.
So
And the wide brimmed hat.
right.
But yeah, like literally, he's fucking evil. He's actively killing
Yeah.
people. His fucking psychopath of a son-in-law is actively encouraging him to kill people, to just let them die in droves because politically it doesn't benefit them to save us.
Yeah, that clown in It, It
Mm-hmm.
is skeeved out by Trump. That's how evil Trump is.
I feel you on that one.
So. Yeah, no, it's fucked up, and I think we need to come together. But it's look, and people are trying to, vote Green. I don't even know who the Green candidate is. Okay, let's be honest. They don't stand a chance of winning.
Something with a
and,
J.
and nobody cares about the message you're trying to make by voting Green. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. You just look stupid.
That's my problem. Okay, and this is where I'm literally angry about people who are looking at Trump and Biden, the progressives, seeing the same thing and voting Green.
The truth of the matter is, we need to get the Democrats in power and change to ranked choice voting before your Green vote's ever going to work.
Exactly.
We need to get ranked choice voting. We need to get rid of the fucking electoral college. We need popular vote, ranked choice voting, and then your Green candidate stands a chance of winning.
Exactly. Because I'm fucking tired of having this conversation where the progressives are looking at Biden and Trump and saying, it's a choice between fascism and fascism. Those two candidates are not the fucking same thing.
Right.
And your false equivalencies
Well,
don't help get your
and let's
candidate
be honest,
elected.
nobody's
Nobody's ideal candidate was
And-
very few people's ideal candidate was Biden.
And Biden turned down an ass ton of corporate dollars. So is it fascism? You know, he just
Like-
has some bad ideas. You know,
He
and,
does.
and he's trying to
He is
balance them
far
by
from
getting
perfect.
people who have better ideas, and I do admire that. You know,
But
he's-
they refuse to see it.
he'll
And
never
these
be as
progressives
eloquent
are
as
so pissed off that their candidate didn't get chosen that they're literally willing to allow Trump to destroy this
But-
country.
Okay, he'll never be as eloquent as Obama. And Obama.
And I say that as a progressive. I am a progressive.
yeah, me too.
I want M4A. I want all these other
I
things.
want to see
The only
Ocasio
thing
become
that
president.
So I would love that. The only thing that I probably come away from the progressives on is that I'm not a Second Amendment opposer, which I don't think that even most of the
no,
lefts
you're
are.
wrong. No, most progressives are pro Second Amendment.
Okay.
It's Democrats that are against Second Amendment.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
A
so
gun in the hand of every working class citizen. That's how it should be.
Yes, I agree with that completely. Now, I am anti-assault rifles. I don't think that there's any
We'll
reason
talk
to have
about
it.
that later.
Okay. So like there's just no freaking point. But like essentially, yeah, like that's the thing is I am completely a progressive, but I think that this diversion of the progressives from the Democratic Party, this is the worst fucking
No,
time.
We need to take it over from the inside, guys. We need to take it over from the inside.
This is not the election
you wanna
to be
fix-
having this tantrum.
Do you want to fix the Democratic Party? Run for office.
Completely
Join
yes.
the Democratic Party. Run for office. Take it over from the inside. When we control the seats, we control the narrative.
Bottom line is that what we need to abandon is the DNC. They work for nobody. They work for corporations.
Well,
Uh,
we need to take it over and force it left. Now
The
we have
agency itself, the DNC. I'm not saying like the Democratic Party like you're saying, run for office, take it over.
the corporation known as the
But the-
Democratic National Convention. We need to
Yes.
take it over. But that's what I'm saying. We can take it over. Wasserman hopefully is out this election. You know, hopefully she's gone and the Democrat running against
because
her
they're not listening
wins.
to the people.
Because
They're
Wasserman is the
absolutely
worst
not.
thing that's ever happened at this
And
party.
I understand the progressives being frustrated because absolutely I'm frustrated too. But the bottom line is that your ducks are out of fucking order and they're running off in chaos. Your first and absolute most important priority as a progressive or a Green Party voter or whatnot needs to be ranked choice voting.
Yeah.
Fucking demand it. Demand it and make it happen across the board and get rid of the Electoral College. Because until that happens, your Green Party candidate is a wasted vote. You're literally giving up your own representation. You're giving up your vote. You're throwing it in the garbage
Right.
with your Green Party vote because you're backing the wrong thing first.
Well,
because you're taking a stand on the wrong goddamn topic.
You're backing a group that's never going to get more than 5% of the vote.
They
And it-
have zero chance of winning.
Right, and but with ranked choice, it doesn't matter. They can run, and it's just like, well, I would normally vote for this person, but I'm not throwing my vote away now.
Exactly.
So more people
You
will
wanna
be willing to
dismantle-
give it a shot,
If you want to dismantle the two-party system, which most people do,
and it's the reason for this perpetual corruption.
yes, this is what needs to happen first and foremost. Ranked choice voting, elimination of the Electoral College.
Right.
Run for office, make it fucking happen, put your priorities in order, and keeping Trump in office is exactly the opposite of what needs to happen in order for that progression.
Well, I think
to
that
take place.
that's the thing. Your vote's going to mean less and less if this dynasty of corruption continues. You know, I really do think that we're looking at near the end of this country if Trump gets elected one more time.
I completely agree with you. I don't think it'll survive 4 years. And he is not campaigning for the next 4 years. He's campaigning because this will be the end-all be-all.
Well, and then like Cohen said that if he doesn't win this, he's afraid. He knows that he's going to be prosecuted for everything he's done, and he's afraid.
He is absolutely afraid. What I think is going to happen is that I think it's going to come down towards October when they say they have this surprise coming, which is probably utter bullshit. But towards the end of October, I think that he's going to take a look at where his chances are. And if they're still basically non-existent, he's going to step down, let Pence take over, and pardon him.
Right.
But that still won't protect him from state crimes.
Well, and I heard that he cannot be preemptively pardoned.
And I heard that he can.
So, and not that it's going to matter. I think that will eventually change. Like if the Democrats win, they'll just change the laws. You know.
I think that he can't possibly escape all of it.
No.
I mean, to be honest, my 2020 bingo card has him taking off to Russia. So
Well, and then Putin will just deal with him like he deals with everybody else.
yes, falling out a window is also on my 2020 bingo card. So
All right. We got anything else?
no, I think that's the gist of it.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter @fire_American. We're also on Facebook. We are on Reddit at r/American Dumpster Fire. We're everywhere where you can find podcasts and on YouTube. So check us out.